Okay, so this is your introduction to solving equations, and that is the steps that you use for solving equations. These steps work all the time. In order for you to remember these steps, the fastest thing to do is to write them down. So I'm going to let you pause for a little bit and write down all of those steps. And then we're going to go through some problems. Okay, pause. Now that you are done writing down those steps, we're going to look at this problem first. This problem says 2y minus 3 is equal to 11. We want to know what y is. Your mom calls this finding the unknown integer. It's called solving equations. We'll just go ahead and make that plain. Called solving equations. So we're solving this equation for y because we want to know what y is. Y can be positive or y can be negative. In the case of today only, I'm being nice and making sure that y is always positive. Doesn't mean we won't deal with negative numbers. It just means that for right now, I'm trying to stick on the positive side until you understand the steps. So, the first step says to draw the line. What that means is you need to draw a line underneath the equal sign. Now, one of the questions that I get often is, how long does this line need to be? And the other question I get all the time is, do I really have to draw the line? Yes, you really have to draw the line. This line keeps you from making mistakes when we do get to positive and negative numbers. It's a very important line. So, the answer to how long does it need to be? As long as it needs to be in order to answer the problem. We don't know. We may have to extend the line. Usually I could tell by looking at the problem about how long the line is going to be, but that's because I've been doing this a whole lot longer than you have. So, when I look at this, the first thing I want to do is simplify both sides. So when I drew that line, it split my equation up into two separate sides. I got this left side over here with all this stuff on it, and then I got this right side over here with just a little number on it. So I need to simplify both sides. The first thing I do is get rid of any parentheses I have. Do I have any parentheses in this? No. So if I don't have parentheses, I get to skip that step and go on to the next one. The next one says to get rid of any fractions I have. I don't have any fractions either. The next one says to combine like terms. Combine like terms is math speak for making sure all our letters are grouped together. So since I only have one letter on this side and one number on this side, that's good. I want no more than one letter on each side and no more than one number on each side. So I'm good with combining like terms. We'll talk more about it when I actually start doing the teaching for you. So now I need to move the letter from the right hand side to the left hand side by doing the opposite. Doing the opposite. We'll talk about what that means more in a little bit too. However, they say to move the letter from the right hand side. This one is my right hand side. Do I have a letter over there? No. If I don't have a letter over here to move, then I get to go to the next step. The next step says to move the number from the left side to the right side by doing the opposite. There's that thing again. So my left side has a letter and a number. This one counts as a letter because there's a letter part of it. So I call it a letter. And this one is just a number. So when I say move the number, it's really the 3 I want to move to the other side. But I can't just move a 3. You can't do stuff like that. So I have to do the opposite. Right now we are subtracting the 3. So my doing the opposite would be us adding the 3. If I add it to this side, I have to add it to that side. That's how we move it. This 3 will cancel out with that 3, and that means I have 14 over here and 2y over here. Now I know you can do this in your head. You've probably been doing it in your head for a while now. However, comma, I don't want you to do it in your head anymore. You should always write things out. Got to get in that habit. Now you need to divide by the number in front of the letter. The number in front of my letter is a 2. So that means I need to divide this side by 2 and divide that side by 2. This fraction bar that I drew is how we show division in algebra. We don't do the little dots and the line in between. We always do it with a fraction bar. So when I do my division by 2 here, 2 goes into 2 one time, which means that'll cancel out and just leave me with a y. Over here, 2 goes into 14 7 times. So that must mean that y is equal to 7. Now, I did 1. That means you need to do 1. So the one that I want you to do is 5x minus 4 equals 26. Pause so that you can have a chance to do it, and then when you're done with your try, start it back and you can see how I solved it. Okay, so I'm guessing you're done with your try now. So the first thing we need to do is draw the line. Simplify both sides. I don't have any parentheses, don't have any fractions. I don't have any like terms over here and no like terms over there. I need to move my letter from the right side to the left side by doing the opposite, but I don't have a letter on the right hand side. So that means I need to go down to moving the number from the left hand side to the right hand side. So my number over here is minus 4, so I'm going to have to add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 and a positive 4 are going to cancel each other out. So that means that 5x is equal to 30. And then I divide by the number in front of the letter. 5 goes into 5 one time, so that leaves me with 1x. And 5 goes into 30 6 times. So x is equal to 6. I hope you got that. Let's try one that's a little bit more difficult than this one. One like 4x plus 14 equals 6x plus 8. The steps don't ever change. They're always going to be the same. So the first thing I need to do is draw my line. And then I need to simplify both sides. I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any fractions. So do I have like terms? Are there numbers over here? No, there's only one number. There's only one letter. So we're good on this side. Only one number and only one letter. So we're good on that side. So that should be fine. Which means that we move our letter from the right-hand side to the left-hand side by doing the opposite. What is our letter on the right-hand side? Well, it's the 6. Are we adding 6x or are we subtracting 6x right now? Right now it's positive, so that means we've added 6x to 8. So I need to subtract 6x. Which means over here I'm going to subtract 6x. I cancel those out, that leaves me with an 8 on that side. On this side, we need to talk. I have the 14, that didn't change any. It's still a plus 14. But if I have 4 things and you owe me 6 things, that means that you're still going to owe me 2 things, because 4 of those things balanced out 4 of these things. But that's still 2 things that you owe me. So that means that's going to be a negative 2x. Kind of like football. Now, I've moved my letter from the right-hand side to the left-hand side by doing the opposite. Now I need to move my number from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. What's my number on the left-hand side? 14. I need to move it over here. But I have to do the opposite. If it's plus 14 up here, that means I'm going to have to subtract 14. So I have to subtract 14 over here. So that leaves me with negative 2x, positive 8, and a negative 14. If you have $8, but you owe your mom $14, you could still give her the 8, but you're still going to owe her some money. How much money are you going to owe her? $6. So now I'm supposed to divide by the number in front of the letter. So that means that x is equal to a negative and a negative. When you're dividing, they cancel each other out. So 2 goes into 6 3 times. Remember, I told you we were only going to have positive answers today. Well, there's your positive answer. Whole bunch of negatives in the problem, but a positive answer. I did 1. Now let's see if you can do 1. I want you to try (10 minus 2x equals negative 2). I'll give you a few seconds. All you have to do is hit pause. Go ahead and attempt it. Even if you don't get it right or aren't sure if it's right, go ahead and attempt it. And then when you're done trying, you can hit play again. Okay, so let's see. First we have to draw our line. Simplify both sides. We don't have any parentheses. We don't have any fractions. We don't have any like terms on either side. Move the letter from the right-hand side to the left-hand side by doing the opposite. We don't have a letter over here, so I get to skip that one. Move the number from the left-hand side to the right-hand side by doing the opposite. So I need to go minus 10 and minus 10. So that's negative 2x, because that's what's left. I didn't cancel that one out. I only canceled the 10 part out. Over here, if you owe somebody $2 and then you borrow 10 more, that means you owe $12. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x is equal to 6. Okay, let's go for a little bit harder. Plus 3x plus x equals negative x plus 2 plus 22. First step is always the same. We need to draw a line. Then it says we need to simplify both sides by getting rid of any parentheses. We ain't got no parentheses, so there's no need to worry about it. Get rid of fractions. We don't have any fractions. Combine like terms. Do I have 2 letters on this side? No. Do I have 2 numbers on this side? Yes. I need to go ahead and put those together. So I'll still have my negative x, but 2 plus 22 is really 24. Over here, we need to do the same thing. Do I have 2 letters on this side? Yes. So I need to go ahead and put them together. 3x plus x, that's 4x. I still have this 6, it doesn't go away. But my 3x and my 1x got 4x. Now I need to move the letter from the right-hand side to the left-hand side by doing the opposite. My letter over here is my negative x. If I want to do the opposite of a negative, that means I have to add x to both sides. If I add x over here, then I need to add x on this side. They'll cancel out, leaving me with 24 on that side. Over here, I still have my 6. 4x plus 1x is 5 x's. Just like 4 eggs plus 1 egg is 5 eggs. Now I need to move my number from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Over here, it's a positive 6. So in order to get rid of it, I'm going to have to subtract 6. If I subtract it on this side, I've got to do it on this side. That's the rule of equations. So 5x is equal to 18. Shuggy ducky. And then I have to divide by the number in front of the letter. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So x is equal to, 5 goes into 18 3 times, with 3 left over. I changed it to a mixed number. That was my hard one. Now it's your turn for a hard one. X minus 5x plus 3 equals x minus 7 plus 10. I'm going to give you a few minutes. All you have to do is hit pause, and then when you're done, you can hit play again. Okay, let's see if you did it right. I hope you remembered the line. Over here, we need to combine our numbers, so that gives me x plus 3. Over here, we need to combine our letters, so 8x minus 5x is 3x plus 3. Now it says that I move the letter from the right-hand side to the left-hand side by doing the opposite. So I subtract an x. That gives me 2 x's plus 3 is equal to 3. And then I move the number from the left-hand side to the right-hand side by doing the opposite. So I subtract 3 from both sides. That gives me 2x is equal to 0. Now I divide by the number in front of the letter. 0 divided by 2 is 0. I hope you got it right. Now let's talk about something you may not have seen before, ever have seen before. Some of this you saw last year, even though you haven't seen it much this year. But some things you just haven't ever seen before, and that's okay. That's what I'm here for. We're going to talk about this whole parentheses thing, what it means. Sometimes they might give you a problem like this. 6x is equal to 4, parentheses, 5 plus x. That parentheses has to be gotten rid of and dealt with first before we do any getting rid of fractions and before we do any combining like terms. We've got to take care of that parentheses first. And in order to take care of the parentheses, we do something called distributing. So I need to give one of these 4's to the 5, and I give a 4 to the x. Got to give it to both places. So when I give this 4 to the 5 and I give this 4 to the x, I'm actually multiplying. So I'll have my 6x still over here. But over here it'll be 4 times 5 is 20. And 4 times x is 4x. That's called a distributive property. That's why we call it distributing. Now that I've gotten rid of my parentheses, I can go on with the rest of this. I'm supposed to move the letter from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, so I go minus 4x and minus 4x. So that's 2x and 20, and then divide by the number in front of the letter. So that gives me x is equal to 10. I want you to try one that has parentheses in it now. And remember, it just means that you're giving whatever's on the outside to the inside, but you're doing it with multiplication. And you give it to everything on the inside. So your problem is 5x plus 12 equals 2 parentheses 2x plus 7. Go ahead, hit pause, take a few minutes and try it, and then when you're done you can press play. Okay, let's see how you did. I hope you said 2 times 2 is 4x, and then 2 times 7 is 14. Over here we still have the 5x plus 12. Then I hope you said minus 4x and minus 4x. Get your 14. 5x minus 4x leaves you just 1x plus 12. Then you should have said minus 12 and minus 12. Got x is equal to 2. Now, some people would say, but wait a minute, we haven't done the division yet. We have to divide by the number in front of the letter. That's true. Sometimes you do. But if you look at this, there really is no number written in front of the letter. However, comma, some people might have come up here and instead of just saying 5x minus 4x is x, they might have said 1x. So they might have a 1 in front. And if that's the case, then you would just divide both sides by 1, and you'd still end up with x is equal to 2. 1x and x are the exact same thing, so you don't have to write the 1 if you don't want to. Okay, so now that you have done all that, I want you to try 3 problems by yourself. And your mommy is going to have the answers to these 3 problems. Actually, technically, Aunt Jo will when she gets there, but your mommy will have them when we do this permanently. So 5x plus 1, equals 19. Oh, negative 5x plus 1 equals 19. And then x minus 10 equals negative 6x plus 4. This will be your problem A, and your problem B, and then your problem C down here. It's a long one. 2y plus 5 times y minus 4 equals 4y minus 2 y minus 10. Make sure you watch where your parentheses are in that one. Okay, I'll see you later. Have a good day.